Right, it's Mike from the Mike James Rock Show, and I'm going to attempt to introduce this next guy. It's Frank Iero.
Hello.
Is that right?
You know, I think that's a pretty good pronunciation. I say Frank Iero.
Iero. Okay. Yeah.
But here's the thing. I don't. And who says that I'm right? I don't know.
It's true. Well, it should be right. You've had it all your life.
And I don't know. But whatever.
So we got that bit sorted out.
Yes.
You probably get that all the time, though, don't you? In every interview, how do you pronounce it?
It's gotten to the point where I'm curious to see with like different people's interpretation. Yeah.
What's the worst you've heard so far?
Well, one time we were playing a show, and on the marquee it said Frank Vero, Vero.
Okay. You're like, who's this guy?
I didn't know who that was. Yeah.
Tribute act to yourself.
Yeah. I like that one.
So you're back over in the UK.
Yeah.
It's only been a few months really since you were here. You were here with Taking Back Sunday, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were here in February.
Yeah. How was that tour for you?
It was awesome. I love those guys, man. They're just amazing musicians, just really great people. I've toured with TBS for many years. I think if you put it together collectively, we've probably been on tour for years together.
Yeah, we interviewed them at Slamdunk 2 years ago. They were here. Just the nicest guys, like
really
off camera. They were just
down to earth.
chilling out.
Just really cool.
Great.
Yeah.
You're on fire at the moment. Everyone seems to be talking about Frank.
Oh, really?
Sorry, I didn't say your surname then.
Yeah, because it could have been anybody. You're not sure.
Your stock seems to have risen all the time. It's like Frank, growing and growing in stature. Is this good for you? Drawing more attention to yourself?
I guess the label's probably real psyched about it. I don't know. I don't put much stock into it. For me, it's like if the shows are great, then that's awesome.
That's all it's about, really, isn't playing well?
Yeah. Other than that, whatever.
You've played some massive shows in your life before. How does where you're at the moment compare to the big stadiums that you've done with the Chemicals and all that kind of stuff?
Well, I think every time. For me, when you get to like a certain level of sheer like number of attendance of people, it gets a little scary and daunting. And then when it gets past that, it's like you can't even tell who's there anymore.
So when you jump up from like clubs to arenas and you can't quite see the mixing desk, that's the kind
it's
of
weird, I've always been a fan of that club experience.
Face to face kind of thing with the audience, feel the sweat and heat.
Exactly. I remember, playing large festivals and having like, getting up on stage for the first time and the crowd was like a football field away, and I was like, how do you do this?
Can't see the back.
It's hard to do. It's a different mindset, and it's a different type of work than say working a regular crowd. I ended up getting better at it and understanding how to do that, and it became enjoyable. But it wouldn't be like my first choice.
So I always find like we cover festivals and all sorts of gigs. Like when you're in an arena or a club kind of venue, you can hear the audience all the way to the back when they cheer.
Right.
But when you're in an audience for say like Download Festival or a big like 80 to 90,000 capacity, you can only hear the people around you that cheer in and clapping and sing along. Right. How does that come across when you're on stage and everyone's singing towards you? Is it one unison, or can you hear pockets of cheering from over there and over there? I always wondered what that kind of feels
for
like.
the big ones. It sounds like it just sounds like almost like a white noise.
Okay.
But you can hear directional, but it does feel like almost like a white noise thing. Like it doesn't. It's not a singular voice. So that's kind of strange. And also too, when you're on those big stages, a lot of the times, if you are on in-ears, like you don't hear crowd at all.
Of course,
Unless you have like you're miking the crowd, which like sometimes you'll do. I always hated the in-ear thing because it never felt natural to me.
Okay.
So that's why I think you'll see too, like if you look back at any old footage of like me on a huge stage, I stay like really in my one area because that's where the monitors are.
A lot of bands are like that, I guess. I'm guessing the invention of in-ears meant the guitarists and lead singers can use the entire
but then if you don't have it in, like there's this weird delay that happens and you're so far off from everything. It's scary, man.
How's that work with when you get runways? Or did you never use to go out?
That shit. Let's save that for Iron Maiden, man. That's for Maiden.
It's for the prima donnas, right?
No, it's just like prima donnas, but like Maiden, that's that's them.
That's their thing.
You use it-
Aerosmith, the big old stadium bands.
Yeah, you use it. If you're not in Maiden, I don't think you get off that catwalk.
Yeah. So you're about to go out on tour across the states as well.
Yeah.
That's a sick lineup.
It's amazing, right?
So the Deftones and Rise Against and
Thrice,
yourself.
yeah.
It's just sick, man.
Yeah, and that was a tour that came down the pipeline, and I think everybody was kind of salivating to be on that tour, and the fact that they picked us is very flattering.
Did you have to go through for consideration, or was it literally like the Deftones were like, yeah, we'll have those guys?
Well, I think usually the way it works is a tour will happen, they'll put together the tour, and then people will submit and just be like, hey, I'd like to be on it. It's almost like if you really like a girl, you slip her a note and says like, do you like me, yes or no, circle one, and they circled us, so that was kind of nice. Yeah.
And then what's after that tour? So I'm guessing you're just going to be busy now promoting the album.
Yeah.
It's out now, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's been out a while.
Yeah, it's been out. Well, it
Parachute.
came out. Yeah, Parachute came out in the very end of October 28th.
Okay, so it was 6 months into
Yeah,
it.
but we only were able to start touring on it in February.
Of course, because
Yeah,
of the incident in
so
Australia.
it still feels new. It's weird, But what's funny is it almost feels like it happened for a good reason, because all the kids that when we start touring it, they knew the songs, they were familiar with it. They really had a chance to live with the record and understand it.
Are you finding this crowd favourites of the album then?
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. I mean, there's at least 2 songs that we haven't played off the record yet.
Okay.
But every time we introduce a new song, I feel like there's an excitement in the room, which is kind of really nice. Yeah.
It keeps it fresh for you as well.
It does, and I feel like, I was just having this conversation where I wrote the record and I was in a specific mind state writing the record, and I thought I kind of knew what all the songs meant. And then everything happened with the accident and stuff, and I got to listen to the record again and getting ready for rehearsals for the tour, and it changed. It was almost like I had written this letter to myself, to deal with everything that happened, and things started to evolve and change again, and they continue to while playing them live. It's an amazing experience.
It's cool. Have you started writing for the next album then, and has the accident had an influence on your writing, where you draw your influences from?
Yeah, I mean, yes. Yeah, I think everything that happens to us affects us in certain ways. When you go through something like that, though, it becomes such a almost like a crossroads, in your lifeline, that I think it'd be impossible to say it hasn't changed me. I have started writing. I think I know what the next thing is, but once I verbalize it, then it becomes too real.
Yeah.
So I don't like to do that. Yeah. Right now it's still forming, and but I'm excited.
Cool.
Yeah. But right now I like living in Parachute. I didn't think I was ever going to get to.
No.
So the fact that we're able to do this is pretty amazing.
It's become something you can hold on to and dream against, I guess, and then get yourself in almost like a rehab by getting the album out and touring it. It's making you stronger and stronger each day.
100%. Yeah.
That's cool. You got plans for the end of the year then?
Yeah. Well, after Deftones, we're gonna go home. I think for another maybe 2 to 3 weeks,
Okay.
and then we start again in September. And I don't think we've announced it just yet. But
Okay, but you're going to be back on the road. And
Yeah.
So this tour cycle is going to be
It's gonna go
year
till-
to 18
yeah.
months long
Yeah.
before anything else comes about.
Yeah, I would say
That's
so.
cool though, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I wish you the best of luck.
Such a
It's
pleasure, man.
Awesome fun. Watch out.
Sorry.
There we go. We've got a lesson take just jumping in for his water. It's all good.
Right
Yeah,
on.
I wish you all the best for the rest of the year, man. It's been a pleasure catching up with you.
Thank you so much, man. It's such a
Cool.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.